Hi, I'm back again with another compatibility chart, this time between Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels. I'm sure you are all aware of the situation between those two, but I'm going to go over the compatibility chart and tell you what else I found. Her Sphinx and Lust conjuncts his Mercury 2 degrees. Mercury is a thinking and talking planet, and her Sphinx, that has to do with hidden secrets or being a mystery and an enigma towards him. And I think that's what he said to her. And lust is self explanatory. So he lusted after her. And probably, I would say, because of the Mercury planet, he told her. And he found her very mysterious and couldn't quite figure her out. Um, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to keep a straight face as I go over this. Her Aphrodite and Nessus conjuncts his Mercury. Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of sexual love and beauty, and it's conjuncting her Nessus as well. So Nessus has to do with abuse. So this translates into that he told her that he found her beautiful and sexy. But the Nessus conjuncting her Aphrodite, this translates into that she eventually became verbally abusive towards him. And I would imagine he probably was also verbally abusive towards the end and after everything that happened. But as I get further into the chart, it will all make sense because you have to look at the big picture, and I'm just starting to get into this. His Aphrodite and lie conjuncts her point of fortune, 0 degrees. That is the tightest orb. And I've talked about the point of fortune before. It's like a circle with a cross in the middle, and it's the energies are like a mini Jupiter, and it magnifies whatever it touches. So in this case, he lied, and his lies conjuncting Aphrodite. So he lied about the situation that happened with her because Aphrodite is her in this case. Her Jupiter conjuncts his Sappho, 0 degrees. Sappho has to do with highbrow eroticism, and Jupiter, like I've said, magnifies those energies. So he felt like he was bringing her this highbrow eroticism and like over the top erotic. That's what she brought out in him towards her. His Chiron conjuncts her midheaven at 3 degrees. And the midheaven is a very important angle in a compatibility chart. It opposes the IC. So what conjuncts your midheaven from the other person, the whole world will see these energies. And if you're not famous, the general public. So Chiron has to do with pain, and that's what he brought to her in this relationship. Her actor conjuncts his Neptune, 2 degrees. Neptune, very foggy, illusions, deception, and looking at things through rose-colored glasses. And since her actor is conjuncting his Neptune, he didn't quite see her for what she really was. She acted, she went through this sexual act between the two of them, but it wasn't how she really felt. And he didn't see that because of the Neptune situation. His Casanova conjuncts her moon, 3 degrees. Casanova has to do with a sweet talking ladies' man and a cheater as well. And Casanova is like, they're very enamored and by the thrill of the chase when it comes to other women. And since it's conjuncting her moon, she got those energies. Whatever conjunction moon you have to pay attention to, because it's a very important luminary in a compatibility chart, and you will receive those energies. So in this case, his Casanova. Her Casanova and Uranus conjuncts his IC, 2 degrees. So behind the scenes, we have Casanova and Uranus. So this means that there was this out of the blue, sudden energy. And with Casanova in a woman, it could mean the act of seduction. So she shook up his world because the Uranus conjuncting the IC, it's right on the cusp of the 4th house, which rules the home and the family. And it's the inner core of where your inner child lives. So she really shook up his world because of the energies that Uranus represents. And like I said, it happened out of the blue, and she was very seductive in his eyes. And it kind of like shook him up. His Cohen asteroid conjuncts her north node, 0 degrees. Cohen is a PNA, and it stands for Michael Cohen, the lawyer. Whatever conjuncts your north node from the other person will be the theme of the relationship for you eventually. And this is at 0 degrees. So there you have it. Michael Cohen, the theme of this relationship, and the pain that went along with that because of the Chiron conjuncting her midheaven. Her Mars conjuncts his Cohen asteroid in the 7th house. And the 7th house rules committed relationships and marriage. And since Mars is conjuncting that PNA, arguments. This planet represents aggression and power. So there was arguments with the lawyer, with Michael, and this all had to do with the marriage and the committed relationships, because, like I said, it's in the 7th house. His Blewett councilman, 0, Amor, and Sphinx conjuncts her Mercury and IC, 1 degree and 2 degrees. Okay, this is very complicated. I'm going to try to break it down for you because there's all these asteroids holding hands, and they're all talking at the same time. So I have to break it down and see which ones are more important or which ones are weaker. So councilman and 0, and Blewett. Councilman has to do with lawyers, and 0 is like a 0. So now remember, this is conjuncting her IC, and this is going on behind the scenes. So she thought he was a 0. You people mean nothing to me, and I really don't want to be involved with you because he blew it. That's what that asteroid represents, blew it. He got involved with her, and there was money involved, which I will get to because that shows up as well. And she didn't want to have anything to do with them. The Amor and the Sphinx is conjuncting her Mercury as well in the IC. So again, Sphinx, hidden agendas and secrets. And Amor has to do with love. So I think he told her that he loved her, but, we couldn't go on, and here's money, and let's just keep this quiet. Now, his Pluto and Atira and Hybris it conjuncts her vertex, and the vertex is another really important point in a compatibility chart. It's like a second ascendant, so you have to pay attention to what energies conjunct your vertex as well, because you will receive them strongly. So in this case, his Pluto, he was a very powerful person at the time, and it's conjuncting his Atira, and that has to do with money. And Hybris, also conjuncting the Pluto and Atira, this has to do with excessive pride and arrogance that eventually leads to a downfall, and it backfires on you. And The downfall is inevitable. Now, her Neptune and Law conjuncts his south node, 1 degree. Again, Neptune, deception, illusions, and law. That has to do with lawyers and the law. So behind the scenes, there was a lot of things going on that was very devious and deceptive. Her Neptune conjuncts his Caputo and Moon, 1 degree. Neptune, I've already explained that. I've already explained those energies, so it's conjuncting his Moon and Caputo. This translates into she was also deceptive towards him, and he couldn't quite figure her out. And that ties into the Sphinx asteroid at the very beginning of this interpretation. That's also conjuncting his Caputo. Now, his Caputo and his Moon conjuncting her Neptune, deception on both sides. And his Caputo with his Moon, this indicates emotional, fraudulent behavior. And he may have thought that she believed him, but she didn't. And maybe she pretended to be enraptured by him, because this also ties into her actor asteroid that I explained before. So basically, she placated him, or she was being, not upfront, and the pretense, and, like I said, just one big foggy deception and craziness that came out of this. His Salicea conjuncts her ascendant, 1 degree. Salicea has to do with salacious behavior, but it also has to do with shocking, scandalous events. So, right there. 1 degree, that's what he brought to her. Her Hemingway trines his Moon, 0 degrees. And Hemingway has to do with writing books. And since it trines his Moon, that's it's a very strong connection to him emotionally, because the trines are like cheerleaders and the energy flows freely. So she did write a book about him, I think, or she mentioned him in her book. And her Hemingway is in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, and her Mars is in the 3rd house, ruled by Gemini, and Gemini has to do with communication and book writing. So, there you have it. That's all I have today, and I will be back again soon with more Synastry charts. And if you're interested in hearing about more, hit the subscribe button, and I will be back again soon. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.